But since speaking of we're playing a little joyful artists and joyful music, it's time for another game.
Oh God, another game.
This game is called Game 3.
If it's the power of the if the power of love is there, I am happy.
I'll consider it next time. But this game is called Overrated or Underrated Music Artists / Bands. So Trevor,
okay.
I'm going to give you the same concept as games. I'm going to give you a name or of a band or artist. I want you to just tell me in the categories overrated or underrated. You can say it however way you want.
Can there be ones that I think are like rated just
that's what I'm trying to say.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Underrated or overrated. You can play in the music industry as viewed wise or anything you like. And even I was just gonna say before that you said that if you have something in the middle between, just give reasons why it belongs in the middle. But like I said, I got cut 15 of them, and we'll go from there. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's appropriate as ever. Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash, honestly overrated, but because can I explain?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
Because like I said with Johnny Cash earlier, he's made some great albums, but he's made a lot of shitty music too, and it's more of an image and persona that people associate with Johnny Cash versus the actual music he put out. I grew up with him, I love him, and I will always love Johnny Cash. Mm-hmm. But the thing is I do think he's put out more bad albums than good albums. He's more of a singles artist. He has better singles than albums. He had a stretch of albums in the 60s that were really great, but all of the classic albums like the 50s and the 70s and stuff like that, just I don't think are very good. And then the stretch of albums at the end of his career, all of those are phenomenal. But the 80s and 90s, outside of the Highwaymen, which is a supergroup with Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, and Johnny Cash, outside of those, his stuff wasn't that great. There's some good songs and some great songs here or there, but album wise it's not where it should be. I mean, that's what happens also when you record as much as an artist like Johnny Cash did back in the day. He recorded a lot of music, so there's going to be shitty stuff.
Fair enough.
That's just given. But yeah, I do think, as much as I love him, I do think he's overrated.
All right. The Beatles.
Overrated. I'm just going to say, they did some good stuff for pop music, but at the end of the day, most of them are fine musicians. Honestly, that's it. They're just, their characters are more entertaining than the music they put out.
Fair enough. Prince, underrated. For the reason that he can play multiple instruments and he bends genres like no other pop musician really does. Okay.
Even his fails in music and some of his albums that are bad, he was still trying some random stuff or something. He was breaking barriers. He was trying to do something different. Even if it didn't work, it's still something you can look at and be like, okay, he tried to do something. That's cool, even though it failed. But he more or less succeeded than failed, I think.
Sure. Fair enough. Michael Jackson.
Overrated. He has one great album, and that's Thriller.
Okay. Simple, right to the point.
Yep.
Elvis Presley,
overrated as well. He great performer. He didn't write most of his music. The 50s stuff is really good. 60s, he got caught up in the film industry, and he just recorded stuff because that's what they wanted him to do. You can tell on those records that he's not in it. Most of them are terrible. There's a couple of good songs sprinkled out through the decade of the 60s. His comeback in the late 60s and then in the early 70s, pretty good. But it wasn't the height of what his early career was. Yeah.
Queen.
Overrated. Bohemian Rhapsody is one of the most annoying songs ever recorded. I would much rather listen to like Bicycle Race. I want to ride my bicycle.
For me, it's Don't Stop Me Now.
But that is a great song.
I love that song.
But We Will Rock You is honestly one of the. It's a dumb song.
It is. It's
We
like
Are
an
the
entrance
Champions
song. Yeah.
is a dumb song too.
That same thing too.
Yeah, like they're fine for like sporting events, but they're dumb.
Yeah.
They're
Entrance
yeah,
wise. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Like
they're just
Sure. Elton John.
Elton John, perfectly rated, I think. Mm-hmm. I think he's put out some bad albums. I mean, again, like when you put out as many albums as like a person like Elton John or anybody of that magnitude, like you're gonna put out some stinkers. But I think Elton John, throughout his career, has consistently put out at least a few good songs on bad albums. Like there's been consistency through that. Like some of the others, there's just been, maybe one good song on a very bad album, or just maybe no good songs. Yeah. Elton John, he at least has one or two good songs on every single album, even his worst.
Oh yeah, I see. Might want to back away from the table. I think it's vibrating a little bit.
Yeah, it is.
Unless you want to fix that. Willie Nelson.
That's honestly hard.
You can go a variety of ways with this too. Going back to the comment about that real quick before we get to Elton John. How about the newer stuff too recently? What about Elton John? I was gonna say the album wise for like his newer songs too. What do you think?
They're not too bad.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, they're not the best, but I mean, at this point, he should probably just stop.
That's included into that.
Good. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, but anyway, Willie Nelson. Sorry. You can go about this however you like.
I would say perfectly rated. Okay. First and foremost, to me, he's a songwriter than anything else. I mean, later on in his career, he mostly picked up songs and recorded songs that he didn't write. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's recorded like a fucking 100 albums.
That sounds about right.
I haven't listened to all of them, but I mean, there's shit. I mean, just like the Johnny Cash thing, like there's shitty albums in there. But I think Willie Nelson having such a strong beginning to a songwriting career that he did, like he wrote some of the biggest songs fucking ever that you hear literally today. Like there's songs you're like, oh wow, that's a great song. You want to look at who the writer was? It's fucking Willie Nelson. Like there's some, there's a couple songs that fucking Frank Sinatra sang, that fucking Willie songwriter, Willie Nelson. But and then even when he started covering stuff, a lot of it was good output and it was interwoven between his songwriting.
Sure. And
I mean, Redheaded Stranger, his 1975 album, which is a concept album of a cowboy and killing and death and a bunch of other shit. Yeah. No, people wish they could put out an album like that, but they haven't and they won't.
Yeah.
And that's not even Willie Nelson's best album. Like that's the fucking craziest thing is that's not Willie's best album.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. And then he put out an album of show tunes from the 30s and 40s.
Yeah. And
he put his Willie Nelson spin on them.
Okay.
And he made them sound great. No one else, honestly, in my mind, in any industry, could put out a album of fucking show tunes.
Yeah.
Like these just pop songs from the 30s to 50s and make it sound good.
Yep. I see.
Like he did.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Probably overrated. I don't know too much about him. I haven't listened to him a lot. I've enjoyed some of his stuff. And then some of his other stuff I've heard, I'm like, why did you put that out?
It's Machine Gun Kelly. Why not?
Yeah, no, that's exactly. And I'm just like, okay.
Post Malone.
I don't know where I would rate him.
I mean, for me, underrated personally, because I think he's probably the most interesting one out of the new generation because like we'll talk about this soon, but like he has a country album coming out soon that he wants to do debuted, and he's doing like little things differently. I think Post is just the guy. Like he's doing more different styles. He has different art like compared to other people we'll talk to in a minute, but I think he's underrated. What do you think?
I would maybe say underrated, but like he's so studio work is not that good either.
Sure.
I think he's underrated as a musician,
okay,
and he has potential to be like a great artist, but the music he's put out is more or less mostly mediocre.
Sure. Hot take? I'm just kidding.
I haven't listened to his new album now, so.
Hey, we saw him at the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, we did.
Hell yeah. Great jobs, Post, in my opinion.
But, yeah.
It was good. I think he was good, Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He wasn't like the best.
So that's kind of my feelings on Post Malone. And he seems like a really good dude.
He's a great guy. Blake Shelton.
I fucking hate him. Overrated. He fucking sucks.
Oh, shit.
Like this fucking dude. Like even his early stuff is fucking atrocious. Like he's what like a city person from New York thinks what a hillbilly is, when in actuality it's not.
Okay.
Like Blake Shelton's for the people who think beating their wives is a good thing.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Let's just end it there.
Yeah.
Don't mind you, Shelton. My mom loves you. I know. Sorry. Carrie Underwood.
Overrated. She has a few good songs, but as of the last like 10 years, she hasn't. It's mostly just pop country shit.
Sure. Eminem.
Probably overrated as well, but I respect his body of work.
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like there's a lot of songs I do like by him.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
All right. Last two. Harry Styles.
I think probably just fine. Rated. Like I don't think he's underrated, and I don't think he's necessarily overrated, but he might be on the brink of being over. You know what I mean?
See, that's my take.
Yeah.
I think he's overrated.
Yeah.
But that's for another episode.
Yeah. No, I just think he's a pop singer, so I'm just like, it is what it is. Like I've listened to everything he's put out after he left One Direction, and nothing's gonna blow you away. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing that's completely terrible either.
Yeah.
Like there's one good album, and then there's like two albums
by himself or with one
by himself. Okay.
Yeah. And as an actor, we shall see. I think
we shall see. I mean,
might be overrated. We'll see.
He has potential.
He'll be the next hot guy if he goes the direction. And now, Trevor, the last one. What do you think it is?
Who do I think it is?
Yeah, who do you think it is?
Don't
be that obvious. I know there's one more person here. Take a guess who it is.
One more person?
Yeah, I have the last. I said Harry Styles. Who do you think?
Taylor Swift, probably. Yeah, yes. Overrated. I've talked about that. I'm not gonna enlighten you anymore on that.
Okay. It's just main reason because why? Just somebody just real quick. Just summary. Real quick.
She exploits her fans.
Okay. My cult leader.